Hello, gentles and ladymen. I'm Ulan Gaming. I am joined by my good friend Steven. How's it going?
Good day. It's always an amazing time when we have a pup to look at.
Yes, I woke up today, this afternoon, because I work night shifts, and it's so fun to have a pup. The only thing that's sad is that it happens 3 hours before I wake up, so I feel like everybody in the Discord has already looked through it before I have. But today we're going to be looking over the public update preview. Now, so for those of you who are not familiar with how my channel deals with updates, we'll be doing a video for the pup. We will be doing another video when the update actually comes out, going over all the changes from the pup to the real update. And then if there are enough shadow changes after that we find after the update, I will make another video that goes over those. And then something that could be new is we could also go over the civilization grid to see how things have changed in a video after that. But for now, let's get into the first update video for the March update. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Okay, starting with general, we have added treaty decks for all. Okay, so I have another pre-made deck to delete. Got it.
Yeah, this is a good one for any newcomers to the game to, understand what will be good for a treaty deck, but yeah, it's something everyone's kind of deleting.
Merchants and Yuruks now appear in fishing boats for the Ottoman and Dutch civilizations, respectively. Oh, cool. Gotcha.
Yeah, little graphics
Yeah,
change.
little graphics change. Fix several instances where units did not have appropriate voice lines. Ah, this is actually something I noticed recently after sending the Valsa Allies card, is that sometimes the Valsa Allies just don't talk. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
this is probably one of the things I do bug reports on the most, so I'm
Mm.
glad to see it.
Cards, 2 War Hut Travois. So this is, I think, something that all of the native civilizations have.
Yep.
Improves the hit points of war huts down to 15% from 20. Okay, well, nobody sent this card before, and they certainly aren't going to send it now. So,
Yeah.
first trade in Age 1 now converts 1.2 from food into coin, down from 1.25. Okay, it's a little bit of a fur trade nerf towards
Yeah, a
late
little
game
bit of a
treaty
first
players.
grade. I think we'll get the reasoning for why they balance that once we get a little bit further down.
Yeah, gotcha. Medicine Wheel effectiveness of healers of the community plaza reduced down to 35% from 50. Yes!
This
Okay,
is a good change.
I'm all about nerfing the medicine wheel. Not because I want the other native civilizations to be worse off, because I do think that if they're going to do this, they might want to buff a little another aspect of it. But the importance of this is that it keeps the incredible effectiveness of the warrior priest unique to the Aztec civilization, which
Yeah.
is why I like it. So I was never a big fan of Medicine Wheel being added, and I always kind of thought that they should give the other natives something different than the Aztecs Warrior Priest, for a little bit of a bonus.
Yeah, yeah.
Mercenary Loyalty in Age 3. Tooltip app updated to specify this card reduces only the cost of mercenary shipments, not all mercenaries. Yeah, the Mercenary Loyalty description is the most confusing thing in the world.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
correctly discounts the cost of recently added naval mercenary shipments. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Naval
So
Uh, so yeah, okay. Naval Gunners fixed an issue that made this card available in Age 2 for the French, Russians, and Swedes instead of Age 3. What does Naval Gunners do again?
it increases range, I believe.
I thought that
Of
was offshore support.
then this one's a 25% boost to damage.
Gotcha.
So naval shipments are rare in this game, given the fact that naval is usually ignored. But in the event that you're dealing with, that being available in Age 2 instead of 3 is a little broken if you're, one of the few people that out there playing on
Gotcha.
Caribbean.
Team Engineering School no longer reduces the train time of grenade troopers and obus gunners. Hey, the less people can spam obus gunners, the better, even if it's only slightly less.
Yeah. And remember, this is a auto exclusive card,
Yeah.
so that's good.
An infinite 17 Mayan allies no longer shares a build limit with the Mayan Hulk Spearmen trained at the Mayan trading post. Oh, that's kind of funny. Yeah, normally when you ship like native allies, they don't count towards the build limit, but I guess this one did. That's it's nice that that's fixed. All right,
Hmm.
technologies. Several technologies now get properly auto researched upon starting the game in post industrial and post imperial age. Okay, sure.
Yep. If you do that, sure, why not?
Two surgeons, four spies, five petards. The consulate shipments available for the Chinese and Indians are now infinite. What? That's so cool! Holy shit, I'm gonna go British all the fucking time now. I can
I have a very
repeatedly
different
get
reaction than I
surgeons.
do to this.
What?
I read this, I'm going, it's like, yeah, two surgeons, four spies. Not really great to. I mean, if you're sending British, you're not typically sending those. But I guess what's your justification in liking this?
I play India and I like Howdas, and it's nice to get the two surgeons for them. And
Okay,
now I can get them repeatedly if they die. Also, petards are just fun.
this is fair.
I'm willing to bet I have a much larger reaction to this than most people will, though. I do admit that. Army
All
of
right.
the Pure, the Udasi Temple, now increases Chakram's siege range by +2. Okay, cool. I think that was an attack card, but yeah, now it's got extra range, which they needed.
Yeah.
Bourbon Reforms, the maximum XP granted is now capped at 2,000 XP. Okay, this is the one that gives you XP for every building you own.
Yeah.
No,
Absolutely no. This is the one for every tech in building. So, like, you could send this in age 3 and get like 3 or 4,000 XP. And
gotcha.
because it can continue granting you XP as you built them too.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah, yeah, no
it,
kidding.
it was busted. So this is a very, very good change. It's still a really great native tech because that's 2000 XP. That's, as good as mercantilism, I should say. Like, it is a good card, even in late game. That's basically a guaranteed shipment.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good change.
All right. Cheyenne Fury. Cheyenne Rider damage multiplier against cavalry now gets improved by 1 instead of 1.5. And okay, so Cheyenne Riders are less effective. Cool.
Probably specifically for Lakota purposes, I'm guessing, because they have that
Well,
as a native allies card.
no, the Cheyenne Fury is a Cheyenne tech.
Oh, so they won't get that then. Okay, so this is
It
just a
affects the Cheyenne Rider, which is a cavalry pikeman, basically.
yeah, but the Lakota can get Cheyenne riders through a card. But I was incorrect in thinking that this would impact them because this isn't tech. You have to research the native TP. Okay,
Yes. Imported cannons. What does this card do originally?
this is the one that enables you to get artillery
Oh, okay.
for
Right,
Africa.
right. I was thinking cards for some reason. This African Palace technology unlocking artillery training now costs 150 influence down from 300. Oh, this is such an improvement.
Yeah,
I normally don't condone buffing the African civs, but my small time playing them found it really irritating that I have to pay for a research tech that's almost as expensive as the cannon in order to
yeah.
start training cannons.
And like you usually as African civs, you're only dropping for this once you know you need to go for calves.
Yes,
Like
exactly. So the fact
so.
that this is reduced is a big deal. All right, I took a couple bites. Now I need to stop and record. All right, full works. Valsa Royal House now grants 1.5 times more resources per economic building.
So
Isn't
this was the tech where it grants you resources per economic building built, and it was kind of weak. And I don't know that 1.5 was going to do it for that tech
well,
because it already costs a decent amount.
what I'm thinking about is the Gideon spam mills strategy.
Yeah, yeah.
This gave 40 resources for a mill, and now it'll give 60 resources for a mill that costs 100. So that means that the deficit goes from 60 resources to 40. So that's quite a big improvement for the mill
Yeah,
spam, actually.
yeah.
But other than really niche strats like that, I don't think people are going to get much use out of this.
No. Okay.
All right,
Meritocracy.
meritocracy, the Zen Temple. Fixed several instances where this technology didn't discount unit upgrades as expected. Oh, that's just
This is
a
the
this
this
is
is the 10% discount.
okay. Got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a 10% discount to unit upgrades across the board.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's been fixed. So cool. Somali Berbera seaports. Now rise 5 seconds faster. Okay. Is this the one that ships you red sea wagons and raises a red sea
Um,
wagon and raises the build limit of outposts?
it might be. I can't say I know this one.
That's actually if it is, this is actually an important tech for Malta
Hmm.
because it raises your commandery and outpost build limit by 4, not just
Oh, that's
not just
yeah, yeah.
outposts. But unless you're Malta, Malta gets to move 5 seconds faster. Nobody else really cares.
Yeah. So it's a very minor change there.
Units and buildings. Experience bounties. Corrected the build and kill bounties of several units to correctly fit the unit cost. Notable examples are the Drummer, 30 XP from 15, Corsair Marksman, 23 up from 12. Okay. Galleon XP, 60 down from 80, and Inca Stronghold, 140 down from 280. Okay.
All of this is kind of except for the stronghold. I do not like that.
And are
Like
these kill bounties or XP or
these are
build
kill bounties.
bounties? Okay, these are kill
It's build
bounties.
and kill bounties. So I do not like that for the stronghold. Is that's explicitly one of those balance things that you're supposed to do, where there's a bigger reward for tearing it down to make you want to go for it more.
Mm-hmm.
So aside from that, this is all just kind of they're fixing some issues, but I do not like the stronghold change here.
To be fair, the Inca Stronghold is much weaker stat wise than the British and
Yeah,
European ones, and it also builds much faster too.
yeah. Uh,
Ranged shock infantry. Previously hidden bonus damage against ranged shock infantry units like the Eagle Runner is now visible on the statistics panel throughout the introduction of a class icon. Oh my god, finally! This was like one of the most annoying things, I swear to god. Is that nobody knew how much damage like different skirmishers and archers did to ranged shock infantry, and
yeah.
now we do.
Uh,
The previously hidden 3 times damage multiplier of villagers against depots, shrines, and mountain monasteries is now visible in the statistics panel through the introduction of the new resource enclosures building class and class icon.
I'm gonna be frank here. I didn't even know they had a 3x damage multiplier.
I knew they had it against mountain monasteries. I didn't know it also applied to shrines and depots.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense from a your vills being able to take down someone who's being a jerk and trying to drop a depot on your hunts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but quite frankly, I didn't even know this existed. So it's nice. I like being able to know.
I have no idea it also applied to depots, but I mean, realistically, why would you ever want your settlers to take down a depot?
Well, it's more if you catch the Malta Explorer dropping one, you throw them on there while it's still building, and with that 3x, you'll be able to tear it down faster than the Explorer can build it.
I suppose.
And go boom.
All right. Advanced hot air balloon can no longer be deleted. You can delete the. It kind of ruins the point, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, it just means the memes about the Chinese air balloon are just getting stronger here.
Arrow Knight's captured mortar, hand mortar, Haraka, mortar tars, spasm mortars, siege elephant. Okay, so all of the mortar types.
Yeah.
Now inflicts ×2 damage bonus against. Well, oh my god.
This is a good change
So
because
yeah,
this,
we're trying to reduce the effectiveness of super loaded walls. I'm all
yeah,
for
it
this.
means with once you get to H4, and this means that the advanced artillery card is even higher in value because now you get that 2x bonus against walls. Like if you've got some jerk, walling up half the map, now you can tear those down even faster.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a good change.
Yeah, I'm actually all for this.
Yeah.
As somebody who never uses walls but frequently runs into them, this is a great change for me.
Yeah.
And as somebody who plays Aztec and tries to make Arrow Knights as my primary unit, this just gives me more reason to point in them, being like, "See, they're good, they're good."
It does. Yeah.
Apophis Monastery, House of Feanars. This is the one I think that ships you
The two mountain monasteries with unique.
the mountain monasteries. Also trains priestesses for Inca and griots for Hausa. Okay, cool, sure.
Yeah. Nice little change. I mean, probably more of a bug, honestly,
Wait,
because you already could train priests from it.
wait, hold
So,
on. You can train priestesses from it.
oh, hmm.
This could actually be really big for Inca because it means they no longer need to dance for priestesses. They can just pay to train them. If I'm reading that right?
Yeah, that would be. We'll have to look at it. I can't remember. Athos Monastery might be an H3 tech, at which point it's not,
Not worth
that
it. Yeah.
strong.
I'm gonna get with who was it that designs the priestess rush in our Discord channel?
Oh, that was Dunamai. It's always Dunamai.
Good point. It's either Dunamai or me for the goofy ones. Uh,
Yes.
I'm gonna get with Dunamai and see what he thinks about this because this could actually be a really big. This is potentially a really big deal for Inca.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Because if the idea is that you get a map with the House of Feanor, you get your native post up, and hell, you could even pop native treaties probably and combine it with a native rush, right? But then you
Yeah,
get the Athos Monastery, and then you train priestesses from it in either instead or in addition to the priestesses you are dancing for, and
yeah.
yeah, that I can see how that could be really useful. All right, Berber Nomad, Berbers. Cost decreased. Okay, by quite
That,
a bit actually. 25.
that is a good change. They were all, I mean, they're faster gathering, but only do natural res, but the 180 food was always really steep. And
Yeah,
the reality is they weren't Sutler wagon good. So it's I like this is a good change. It brings it more down to earth on what this is really worth. Like
yeah,
it's a good unit. It means grabbing a Berber native post if you're doing a boom is a really solid option because you can get 5 of these guys per native post, and it makes it cheaper and it's a good change.
yes, I agree. I always thought that the Berber Nomads were kind of hella expensive. Bolivar Revolutions, now correctly classified as Gunpowder Trooper. Okay, sure. Bosniak, combat promotion restored, but with lower promotion benefits per level. Okay, so the Bosniak is a badass again.
Yeah, but less of a badass. They're not
Less of
check.
a badass, but still one of the best mercenary units.
Yeah. But now they're like I think probably they were hit a little too hard, so they're like put it back in, but like a lower tier.
Dude,
So,
Bosniaks are so fucking good.
yeah.
Chakrams! I love these chakrams.
Well,
Classified
these guys are reworked heavily, actually.
Classified as a light infantry unit. Okay. Siege damage increased to 20 from 15. Thank God. Now inflicts 0.6 damage against heavy cavalry instead of 0.5 against all cavalry. And a 0.5 bonus against hand shock infantry. Okay, so it's just nothing but improvements. And they also
Yeah,
got some extra range from their attack, too.
yeah. So it looks like it's more shifting it to a proper
Yeah,
skirm.
skirmisher.
All right.
These guys were always like kicked ass against like any kind of musketeer in Age 2. Now they suck less against cavalry. It looks
Yeah,
like, and do a lot more against goons than they did before.
yeah.
Shan Rider hit points reduced to 300, down from 320. Damn, the Shan Rider's base hit points was a base Hussar as a native unit. That's pretty badass. Alright. Community Plaza. Minimum placement distance to enemy town center increased to 80 tiles from 65.
Were
Uh,
people cheesing? This
and
feels like people were cheesing.
hit points reduced to 1200 from 15. I'm not sure what it means by tile. I really don't.
So the unit of distance. So it's just their unit, like 80
Oh, okay.
distance.
Oh, so from enemy town centers.
Yeah.
This was the thing where Aztec would, in particular, was famous for this, where they would build a community plaza as close to the enemy's base as possible, and
Mhm.
then spam Minutemen into the base.
Mm,
And it was nerfed a long time ago. I guess they didn't nerf it enough, and they decided to do it again.
fair enough.
The hit points change, I'm not really a fan of because the community plaza is already so frail.
Yeah, it's already and big, easy to target. Yeah, but this feels like it's
For
directed at teasing.
like the community plaza is already a building where the enemy targets it and it hard targets it, burns it down, and then you've lost like half your functionality as a native civ until it's back up. I feel like it needs a little bit more HP than 1500.
Yeah. So maybe in a slight adjustment, we're keeping the hit point reduction, but adding a hit point boost if you're within 80 tiles of your own TC.
Yeah, something like that. That would be nice. Consulate artillery. Industrial age units, heavy cannons, great bombards, Myosarian rockets can no longer receive the extra 25% damage and hit points improvement in the industrial age in addition to their standard 10% improvement. No changes.
I'm guessing that's supposed to say Imperial.
Well, no, because cannons upgrade by 50% in Imperial, I'm pretty sure.
Is consulate? I'm not entirely certain what this is
So
drawing.
this is referring to off the top of my head, I know it's referring to the Great Bombard tech.
Uh, okay.
India has, which kind of sucks for me because I love that tech and I send it semi frequently with India.
Okay, so you got one consulate buff and another consulate nerf,
Yeah.
Imperials are equal.
Corsair Captain, ranged infantry class removed.
Well, they're not ranged, so
That makes sense though.
yeah.
Dahome Amazon. This is a skirmisher mercenary.
Yeah.
I tested them out once before. They do a lot of damage and they have a solid multiplier, but they're really expensive. They cost like 300 resources each.
But look at some of these changes. Now inflicts 3.5 bonus damage to heavy infantry, up from 1.75.
Oh my god, they have 30 base damage. That's over 100 damage per shot now.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
now it's worth now it's
you
worth
get-
300. Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, but 0.5x against all infantry. So down from 1. So that's actually half that. So actually their heavy infantry is the same, but it makes them bad at countering light.
Wait, so they just nerfed them. Okay.
Yeah, and 0.5 against heavy cav. Okay, but they're better against ranged cav now. So it's kind of more just a balancing. They're worse against other skirms, but they're better against goons.
Well, congratulations to Humming Amazon. I will still never use you.
Yeah, they're too expensive. Okay.
Doc from Portugal. Obstruction radius reduced to 4x3 from
Doc
5x3.
or
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
For easier placement. Cool. All right, so docs are easier to place.
All right.
Drummer is now selected with the select all military units hockey and correctly classified as a gunpowder trooper. All right, cool.
That is good.
Native trading posts decreased line of sight to 9. Man, there's a lot of changes. A lot more than the last one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm wondering if
the native trade post decreased line of sight from 9. I'm assuming is a nerf to how you can just walk near trade posts you don't own and gain line of sight.
I'm guessing so.
Which I think is relatively fair. If you don't own the building, you don't deserve 12 line of sight. Lenchnecks now cost 2 population down from 3. Ooh, big fan of this.
Mhm.
Unit hit points and damage are now upgraded from Commerce Age values. 300
Current values are restored on reaching Fortress Age. So what this means is that
Sweden's early Lenchnecks are nerfed, right?
Yeah, they're nerfed, or they're now nerfed early because now when you spawn them, they don't come in as Fortress Age units. But this makes them more viable as mercs in general because it's only costing 2 pop spots. But
Yes.
at the same time, this does decrease their. Now, to be fair, these guys are beasts.
They
So,
are.
but this also means because now they have a lower base value, it means that when they go up, when you upgrade these, like if you go through mercenary contractor and H, something like that,
Mm.
they're going to have lower stats in the end game. But that lines up with the two pop slots.
Yeah,
So
that
I think this is a good change in general. Like it's a nerf to early Landsknecht play, but at the same time, it makes the unit like if you roll that at the tavern, you're now you
it's
say
funny.
that.
It's a nerf to early Landsknecht play and late game Landsknecht stats, but it's still a buff to them.
Mhm. Because look at the reality. It's like you have the 345 hit points down from 430 as base, but you can now get 50% more of these.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it's an overall buff to the unit, but it nerfs the individual unit in once you get to him,
Yes.
and it's a nerf to age two play, which I mean anyone who's ever had four Landsknecht dropped on their base at 7 minutes knows that like that's a pain.
Hmm.
Like these guys roll in with
Yeah. Wait.
what was 72 siege. It's like good gravy.
All right. Levied Bowman now correctly classified as light infantry, archaic infantry, and foot archer. Okay. Moving on. Light infantry units. Okay, you warned me that there was a really big tech involving light infantry units. Is this it?
This is it.
Okay.
This is earth shattering here.
Okay. Let me read this. Skirmisher and foot archers have their range damage multipliers reduced by 20% against heavy cavalry and minus 33% against hand shock infantry. Light infantry units that do not inflict negative damage bonus against shock infantry yet have it reduced yet have received it now. Oh, okay. So damage ones that don't have a negative multiplier against
Yeah.
cavalry do. Units inflicting siege damage, obelisk gunners, cannoneers, fire throwers, received higher negative multipliers, whereas counter skirmishers, Pandor's Schiavoni, received lower ones. Okay, so all skirmishers are worse against Cav
All
by twenty
skirmishers
percent.
by 20% and 33% against handshot infantry, so meaning
So
Aztecs.
this is really big because it means you can no longer just purely mass skirmishers and eventually just get a big enough mass that you can just one shot Cav, and you can still do that to a degree, but now you need 20% more troops for it.
But notice what's even more important here. Units inflicting siege damage, meaning bypassing armor,
Yeah, I
Avis
know.
gunners,
I know.
cannoneers, fire throwers. Well, I'm expositing this for the audience. Avis gunners, cannoneers, and fire throwers received higher negative multipliers, which means they're taking into account for that lack of armor. And think about what we're talking about with those three units. Like, think about the units that have been really dangerous for kiting specifically against Cav as skirms. You think of your Avis gunners and your cannoneers.
Yeah, the
This is right.
obus the obus gunner or cannoneer, I suppose, it was
Yeah.
famous for being like the easiest skirmisher to just be like, okay, I have enough of these. Cav is no longer an issue.
Yeah. So this is a huge nerf to like the thing is again, it's like this is it might not seem like it, but this is a huge change because like it's really gonna Cav is now gonna be a much bigger player and a much bigger threat to skirm matches. Like if you see 10 Hus come in against, 35 skirms now, that's a much bigger threat.
It is. It is a much bigger threat than it was before because they can't just shoot them.
Yeah, and this also means that fire throwers, if you want them to be able to fight against Cav, you really do need to send that fire thrower card, the flamethrower card now.
Yeah, the fire
Yeah.
throwers were just ass against cavalry already. Now they're even worse.
So,
Because fire
like,
throwers rely on area of effects for a lot of their damage, and cav are way too far apart because they're big and bulky.
yeah. Okay.
All right, this is a big one right here. This is huge because it means small batches of Hussar are going to have a much easier time dealing with skirmishers.
Yes.
Lanero, Grand Columbia, now correctly classified as Lancer and Heavy Cavalry.
Okay. Sounds more like it was a bug.
Hajuk, range increase to 20 up from 18. Oh, interesting. Cool.
Well, that's what an outlaw or mercenary available. Can't remember which skirm unit.
Reduced gather rate at the community plaza to 20%, down from 25. Okay.
Okay.
Javelin Rider, hit points reduced to 160 from 180. Wow! I am shocked they nerfed the Javelin Rider. I felt like, Ethiopia already struggled so much.
Yeah. The Jav Rodder's always been oppressive. And you have to remember, it's still a one pop goon.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably fair.
Well, it also is a one pop unit that does have 180 HP.
Mm.
Equal to their knights. And they also have 30 damage.
That's fair. So, just boosting your Eagle Runner stock. All right. Mapuche Ironwood Clubman.
Attack rate
increased to 2.
from 3. Okay, so they attack faster. And damage increased by... Oh my god, that's a big damage change. Okay, so the Mapuche Ironwood Clubman went from shit to the shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm going to, make Mapuche Ironwood Clubman now. They were so bad before. Now they are insane.
Yeah.
That's a big damage boost. That's a 33% attack boost and a 33% attack speed boost.
Yeah, that's solid.
Prospector Wagons, Salt Camel. Now have legacy hotkeys for discovering... Okay.
If you ever use a hotkey for that, then there you go.
Royal Horseman. Hit points increased to 900 from 750. Good! Royal Horsemen are like a cuirassier, heavy cav mercenary. And, 750 is a lot of HP and all that, but, the cuirassier had more HP, and the Royal Horseman... in the later ages, and the Royal Horseman was locked until age 4. So, as far as I'm concerned, making the Royal Horseman actually identify as a mercenary level unit, I'm all for it.
Yep.
Seminole Sharptooth Bowman. It fixed an issue that prevented the unit from getting updated by the Seminole Invincibles technology when sent from the home city. Okay.
Funny, I just saw that one on the forums as a bug report yesterday, so it looks like they got that one fixed fast.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, we're getting to the. We're gonna get to the
juicy stuff.
The juicy stuff soon. Somali Darude Militia fixed an issue resulting in the home city version erroneously having 3 more range than intended. Okay. Wow. So is that why I had fucking Somali militia that had greater range than my fucking Gatling guns as USA the other day?
Probably.
Because I saw that from an enemy Ethiopia player where he was making Somali Darude militia on a map with no Darude militia that had 25 range against my Gatling guns 24. They just kited them all day. I think they even have multipliers against artillery too.
Jeez. Yeah, so that's probably just fixed to that.
Sudanese Dervish now inflicts 3 times bonus damage to heavy infantry, up from 1.5. Okay, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing where it's just worse against
other skirms, and it's worse against other skirms.
Better against other skirms. So 3x against heavy,
0.5 against all infantry.
Yeah.
Oh, instead of light infantry and counter skirmishers.
So it's pretty much a null factor there. Okay, it really just makes it better against ranged cav, light cav.
Warrior now grants 10 XP to the enemy player when defeated. Thank God. Okay,
good.
I love spamming warriors as much as the next person. This needed to change.
Yeah, it's similarly to with Marines getting the XP granted for killing them. The same needed to be applied for warrior here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Winged Hussar, House of Vassal. Cost reduced. My only thing was, if you're gonna grant XP to Marines after you send the card, let Marines be healed after you send the card too, you fucking pricks. They still can't be healed by healers and surgeons. It's so annoying.
But wait, they might be.
Is this a hint towards what's to come in this build?
This may be a hint towards what's later in this patch.
Oh my god, yes. Okay, Wing Tassar, House of Vasa. Cost reduced to 200 food, 100 coin, down from 250, 100. Okay, cool, sure.
When the wing test has arrived. Anyways,
Woku
that's all.
Horseman, now correctly classified as an archer.
Yeah.
Yoruba Esso Rider, range and melee resistance increase to 55% from 50. They had 50% resistance? Jesus. Now they have 55. I always forget how insane Yoruba Esso Riders are on paper before they start losing HP.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's like it's such a gamble.
It is. Alright, but let's have some fun.
Yeah.
A High Priest of Exultant, the work rate for Warrior Priest is now increased by 10, down from 20. That's okay, because they nerfed Medicine Wheels a lot harder.
Yeah, so I think it's just an overall nerf to healers, medicine priests, that sort of the dancer,
And
well, not dancer, but you know what I'm talking
fucking
about.
fucking 10 warrior priests is already like as good as 20 villagers by themselves without any upgrades. So, this
Yeah.
is fine, Infinite's 1300 coin in Age 4. Arrival time increased to 60 seconds, up from 40 seconds.
The
Okay.
card will arrive in 40 seconds due to the alteration of it. So they're just balancing, they're tweaking the back end so it's doing what it should be doing. It should be arriving in 40 seconds, not faster.
Yeah.
That's
And
bug
this was a thing where late game Aztecs players would just spam the 1300 coin shipment over and over because they have nothing better to send. It's kind of sad, really.
Yeah. But so it's a slight nerf, but realistically it's a bug fix.
Chichimera Rebellion. Oh, the useless Rebellion card. Cost reduced to 1,000 of each resource, down from 1,500. Still too much. Fixed an issue that prevented villagers to get replaced by warriors upon death.
Okay.
So this card right here, it doesn't change your settlers into military units and give you a big push. What it does is it transforms your war hut units into noble hut units.
Okay.
And it costs 4,500 resources to send.
Now 3,000, but yeah.
Now it costs 3,000. It's still too much for a simple transformation deck that fucking Russia gets for their Strelets to Musketeers for free.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then instead of having all of your settlers transform into military units for a big push, they just turn into Minutemen when they die.
Yeah.
Eagle Runner Knight added a 0.75 multiplier against infantry to all range attack. Oh man.
So viable against infantry now. Plus lowered range resistance to 20% from 25.
I am so saddened. Aztecs needed as Aztecs need help. They are in a pretty bad position, I feel like, as a Civ. Especially their late game. Like, you want to encourage Aztecs to go into late game more often, and what they have done here is nerfed everything late game for Aztecs and incentivize rushing even more so with this patch. And I feel like Aztecs needs. You can even look at our win graph. Aztecs get 33% of their wins. Aztecs get 35% of their wins according to our civilization grid between the 8 and 12 minute mark, and that's only going to go up with this patch because people aren't going to make Eagle Runner Knights. They aren't going to send the infinite 3,000 coin in Age 4 as often because it takes 60 seconds to arrive in the Industrial Age now. The warrior priests are now slightly nerfed, which doesn't really make that big of a difference because they're already badass, but it's still a nerf. And that's all mental incentive to just turn Aztec into a pure rush civ. And I feel like these are the changes that these are the opposite of changes we needed. Overall, I'm not happy with the Aztec changes.
Okay. Warrior priest cover mode removed. Yeah. So
I wasn't even aware they had cover mode. I just used them to punch shit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking high level play, that's where you start using cover mode to duck out, to save yourself in early raids. So it makes them a little more vulnerable to raids at high level play, but it's not much of an impact to us scrubs.
All right, British Manor House cost increased to 140 wood from 135.
Cool. Okay, just continuing to tweak that back up to where
build and kill XP adjusted accordingly to 28 and 84.
Yeah.
This means that when Aztecs kill a
Yes.
British manor house, they're going to get 252 XP.
Hmm.
Ranger. Damage multiplier versus heavy infantry increased to 2, up from 1.75. I don't know why it was at 1.75 before. That seems
Seems
silly.
a bit low. Yeah.
Cards. New 5 Rangers added to Home City. Cool. 13
I
Rangers.
gotta hold on that. Like, if that's actually the number and this isn't a typo, then that's a trash card because that's 5 skirms and it's a shipment in age 3.
Yeah. 13
That's trash.
Rangers, age 4 added to Home City.
That's good.
Three settlers removed from Home City. Oh.
So this means that they still have the 2 settler cards, so you can still send settlers in H1. But that's an interesting nerf there, and it's going to change build orders. It's
It
going to change
will.
build, particularly with the next one, which is Greenwich time. Now arrives fast.
Yeah. Brits is probably going to become a shipment based civilization now, with everybody wanting to send Greenwich time as fast as possible.
Yeah, because that Greenwich time is with it arriving fast. That means you're like, yeah, let's go back to what we've been
Oh,
experimenting with on.
you want to go over real quickly what Greenwich time does for the audience?
Yeah, for general audience, Greenwich time reduces your train time and age up time by 20% per trade post. So, and it's a multiplicative, not an additive. So each one gets a diminishing return. So your first one reduces everything by 20%, the next one 16, and so on. But it's
And
20%.
it also sends an outpost, a trade post
It
wagon,
does
does it
have an
not?
outpost. It does have an outpost wagon.
A trade post
So
wagon, right?
yeah, sorry, trade post wagon. So what this typically means that when you're talking Greenwich opening, you usually build a TP with your explorer, and then use the Greenwich time wagon to build it on another trade line, and then you have 2, and you're getting up to age 2 at 30%, 35% faster. So it allows for a faster age 2. Cool.
Virginia Company now only reduces the build bounty of manors to 22 XP from 18. Okay, so you Brits get slightly more XP for doing their manor boom now.
It builds on that shipment opening that we're talking about here.
Bigger rifles, age 3 Rangers. This is, I believe, the card that replaces Yeoman after you send Queen's Rangers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, when you send Queen's Rangers as Brits, all of your Longbowmen cards get transformed into equally relevant Rogers Rangers cards. And Baker's is, I believe, the card that replaces Yeoman and it makes the longbow range go from 22 to 26. Range improvement for Rangers increased from 2 to 4. So this will make the Rangers go from, I think, 20 to 24 range.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either that or 18 to 22. One of the two of them.
That's good.
In either case, if you're doing a Rogers Ranger build, this is going to be the card for you now. 4 range is a big deal, especially for skirmishers.
Yes.
Alright, technologies, Queen Rangers, age 4, fix an issue where Longbowmen upgrades would still continue to be available in the barracks. Okay, cool.
Oh, bug.
Chinese disciples now inflict 2.5 times damage against mercenaries. Oh, cool! So the disciple now has a usable function as like an anti-merc unit now. This means that the White Pagoda has a little bit more use for China.
It does. And I was chatting with Platt for a little bit before this, and China does have a little bit of a vulnerability to mercenaries because they lack the spy by default. So basically just solves that problem where it's like now you see, they're spamming, the new Landsknecht, you can make some disciples.
I hope to see a similar change to India.
Yeah.
Because currently their only real access to spies was the 4 spy shit tech from the British consulate, which is now infinite, but it's still that's a lot of that's still a lot of export.
Yeah. That's a lot of export.
Keshiks now benefit from the target lock feature. Cool. So their goons are slightly better now.
Slightly better.
Summer Palace, age 2, now grants 300 food and crates down from 400. Now grants 800 food crates in age 3 down from 1,000. Okay, so this is a big nerf to the Summer Palace.
Yeah, but it's still going to be everyone's primary.
Yeah, it's still going to be everybody's primary.
So like it's more just a nerf to that opening, so that it's a little harder for them to get an early batch out for food. So yeah,
All
I
of
think
their
it's a good change.
armies, all of their primary armies got increased in train time up to 27 or 29 seconds. Big fan of this because China trains ridiculously quick, it felt like.
Yes, yes, it does.
Cards, Double Face to Mirror, age 3. Now increases the resistance of meteor hammers and iron flails by 5%, down from 10.5%. Okay, so this card is. This card was a really good card. This was like a must send if you were running meteor hammers and iron flails. Now it's probably not going to be as much of
Yeah,
a must have in your deck.
yeah, yeah.
Repelling Volley, Chukanu and Arquebuser damage no longer gets improved by this card. Oh, okay. Both units now inflict +1 times damage bonus against all range shock infantry instead of only Eagle Runner Knights.
So it's now a default for their skirm units rather than a card that buffs them from a deficit. Is how I'm understanding that.
No, I think what this is saying is Repelling Volley is going from being a damage increase to a counter infantry rifling tech.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because this right here is tied to Repelling Volley, not Chukanu and Arquebusers.
Um,
So it's saying Chukanu and Arquebusers no longer get damage from this card. They instead get extra multipliers. They're turning repelling volley into a card form of counter infantry rifling.
okay, that was hard to read. Okay.
Yeah. Which I'm. It's nice that they have access to a counter infantry rifling. However, I'm still in the camp where it's like with India, you know, it sucks that I had to send a card for my counter infantry rifling. At least with India, at least with India, you also get a whole bunch of extra Gurkhas from sending the card, but not in this one's case. Beiyang Army Age 3. This card's sending 8 Step Riders and 8 Keshiks. Now costs 800 food, up from 750. Okay, cool. Sure.
Okay.
The Iron Cap Prince's Army, Age 3. This card sending 12 Qingdao Swordsmen and 2 Flamethrowers. Now costs 800 food, down from 1,000. Cool. 16
Okay.
Arquebusers in Age 4 now delivers 17 Arquebusers.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of small changes for
Oh,
China. Lots of small changes. Mostly nerfs, a couple buffs.
yeah.
I hate China, so I'm all for all these.
Yeah. Yeah. Only a major, and I use major in quotation marks here, changes to the disciple. Like they're more usable now. Have a purpose in life.
Dutch have a bank hit point reduction. Wow.
Yeah, that's 500. So I mean, they're still chunky buildings. They're still 3,500. But yeah,
Now if you send that card that increases the bank hit points, though, they're gonna have 7,000 hit points instead of 8,000,
yeah, that's good.
which means they're going to be as tough as upgraded wolves instead of tougher.
Yeah, it's probably fair given the fact that Dutch is always the scariest when you're dealing. Like if you don't do damage in Age 2, like GLHF, like you're in a bad way if you're not doing good damage. So it increases the likelihood that you get a bank.
Yeah.
So,
Piece of Munster. Envoy unit shipment increased to 2 from 1. Okay, sure.
no one will send it, but sure.
I think this is the card that allows envoys to construct buildings,
Is it? Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, that might now be usable with 2 because that's effectively a 2 vil shipment, kind of.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like it's more like it just allows you to really quickly build a forward base without any
Yeah.
danger.
Okay.
Belgian, I think it also increases envoy attack as well.
Okay.
Belgian Revolution. In Age 4, this is the card I think that turns all of your halberdiers into revolutionaries.
Okay. And converts pikemen. All right.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it now costs 1,500 resources, but also that's actually pretty cool You
Yeah,
could make a because yeah, there's the pikeman shipments in H4 are huge. Yeah, there's a 24 pikeman shipment.
yeah, and they're easier to get out because it's 40 food, 40 wood.
So
So it's,
this could totally be a build then where somebody just in fast industrials, they send that advanced church cars so you get the 30 stradiots,
yeah,
and then bam, bam, bam. After a whole bunch of pikemen, you make a second push after your 30 stradiots with like 80 revolutionaries.
yeah.
Tulip speculation buff, cool.
I, mm, I don't think that's
It's
necessary.
not, but it doesn't really matter. It's there.
I don't like it. Dutch are already rolling and going, but all right, let's move on.
Buck Riders, age 2, ships 3 highwaymen, enables them in taverns and stables, and reduces reduced resource and population cost. Cool. So Dutch can now go with an outlaw build with highwaymen. Highwaymen, I believe, are goons that can dismount, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't say I've ever played with them.
Well, I'm gonna have to try them out now because I am all for outlaw builds, and the fact that this is like a specific outlaw build for Dutch now is great.
And see if that combos with our next new card of Dutch States Army. Mercenaries.
Mercenaries train, arrive, and move. Well, the highwayman is an outlaw, not a mercenary.
Yeah, but it combos because now you're already talking about training out of taverns for mercs.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
Uh
mercenaries arrive, train, move faster, but Dutch infantry and cav is now more expensive. Enables Highlanders and Royal Horsemen.
ooh, oh my god! So they get this is a skirm this is the musketeer husk combo then that
Yep.
they get with the tavern. Combined with okay, so yeah, you can totally go all in on just being a mercenary, a mercenary
Mercenary,
trainer
no
with
problem.
Dutch now.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this. I'm going to test this out quite a bit. I think, although they would preferably have, I would like to see a potential card added that allows them to have more than one place to train mercenaries from. All
Yeah.
right, Ethiopians. Eastern medicine now correctly increases the range of Ethiopian villagers. Okay, cool. Cards. New hand infantry combat added to home city. All right, so
Sure.
it's a shuttle warrior combat card.
Yeah, that works.
3 Aroma warrior unit increased to 4. 6 Aroma warrior at age 4 increased to 7.
Aroma were underutilized, so it might increase the value of those cards, make you more interested in it, but
Yeah,
reality,
exactly.
yeah.
3 Albans increased the build limit of Albans by 1 down by +1 down from +3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they get lower build limits on these.
For both of these cards. Just
Yeah.
reducing the ability to abuse the Aben.
Now, if you cap on Albans, you won't be able to send either of these cards. Fun fact, because
That is
they'll
true.
defy the build limit. 4 villagers added to home city in age 2.
Okay.
British firearms, age 3, no longer improves the damage of all heavy range cavalry, but instead improves the range damage of all Ethiopian infantry and cavalry units armed with firearms by 5%. Okay.
Okay.
So it's a 5% damage boost to everything they have, basically.
Basically, at the cost of probably a lower benefit for Oromo specifically, which makes this card more usable.
Mm-hmm. Units. Amun now heals artillery and elephants much slower.
Yeah.
Fair. Fair.
And a Civ that already gets benefits from having units near their mountain monasteries for healing and all that,
Like
this is
you could
valuable.
put like a couple albums next to a Sebastopol mortar, and that thing was unkillable unless you had the capability to one shot it.
Pretty much.
Aroma warrior population cost reduced to 2 from 3. Whoa, that's a big change. And melee attack
That's
speed slowed
big.
down to 1.25 from 1. Okay, aromos are in now, like
Yeah,
straight
so
up.
we're gonna see a lot more Aromos now.
Although they still do cost 150 of each resource, I think, unless they reduce that
Yeah,
cost in a
but that
previous patch.
cost means we're gonna see more.
Uh,
We're gonna see.
Sebastopol mortar. Multiplier against artillery for solid and explosive shot increased to 0.25 from 0.1. Okay, so Sebastopol Mortar is back in. Okay, I'm
Yes,
liking these
this is
changes.
all buffs. It's increased damage against artillery, meaning you could actually fight Falcons now because you couldn't. You used to be able to not fight Falcons.
Yeah, exactly.
Multiplier against buildings for siege increased a little bit. That's good. And then movement speed increased a tad. All right.
I am all for this because Ethiopia needs help.
Yeah.
And like this is really good stuff. The Aroma Warrior is usable, the Sebastopol Warrior is usable, and the annoying as shit Aubin is worse. So
Yeah.
French Ancient Regime, Age 2. Now also this is I believe the one that delivers like 3 units and makes your 3 like Royal Musketeers and makes you train them faster, I think.
No, this is the one that allows you to ally with the House of Bourbon.
Okay. Now also delivers a Royal Embassy Wagon and move to Age 1. Oh, this is a really good card now.
Yeah, that's a good card.
Continental Blockade, Napoleonic Era. This is the one that temporarily blocks enemies from getting shipments.
Well, but tooltip updated to clarify that allied home cities get blocked too.
Okay, cool. So it's just you who gets shipments, nobody else.
Kind of selfish, but all right.
Grand Army. Well, it's only for 4 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Grand Army, Napoleonic Era. Now increases the cost of. Hold on, this pisses everybody off when I pronounce it incorrectly, so I continue to do so. Sanskaloots by 25% in exchange for unlocking cheaper Imperial upgrades. Okay. That seems fair. By then, you should probably be capped out on Sanskaloots anyways.
Like,
Napoleonic Warfare. Sanskaloots themselves now provide less build XP in exchange for a higher XP generation throughout combat. Sure. Yeah.
you have to get into Napoleonic era for that. So it's very niche.
This card, Napoleonic Warfare, was like the worst Napoleonic era card, and now they've nerfed it. So.
Okay.
Aztecs. Ah, yes, the Aztec landwear.
Yeah, the Aztec. Obviously Germans.
This is the Aztec Prince Chevaliers card in Age 3 that got changed. The Aztec. Yeah, this
I'm
is
going to
obviously
say
Germany.
this is like an all-around straight buff to Germany here. So Landswehr has a legacy hotkey and ranged attack multiplier for light infantry increased to 1.5.
Light cav.
Light cav, thank you. So a little better against goons now for their cards. Band of Landsknecht mercenaries cost reduced to 250.
Hold on, I'm doing the math right now. The Landwehr base attack goes from 16 to 20. So 1.5 times will make them do 30, as opposed to 32 from Light Cav. So basically, they used to go from doing 32 damage to Light Cav to 25 damage to Light Cav, but now they'll be going from 32 to 30. So this is a big improvement for the Landwehr.
Yeah. That's a huge boost. And so the Band of Landsknecht mercenaries cost reduced to 250 coin. Now remember, this partners with the nerf from Landsknecht earlier, so their stats have gone down a little bit. So this is just keeping the card balanced essentially with the Landsknecht change. But this one next is great, and this is what I've been literally
asking. Yes, I've been asking for this for a while too. Yes. Prince Electors moved to H1, now sends a Royal Embassy Wagon. Thank God.
This is now a usable and actually good card for Germany, particularly if you're doing H2 play. Because now it gives you more options. It gives you the ability to potentially get more cav out. Like this is a really good change.
Hey,
and
how
makes
much
it a usable card.
How much you want to bet the card is still bugged and they forgot to remove the 2 Ulans attached to it?
It never had the 2 Ulans.
They didn't have the 2 Ulans, and then they changed that in a patch.
Yeah, it never has. Oh. Still hasn't. Like, it's been something I've been whining about for ages. Is like, it's the only H2 card that did not have a benefit for Germany's shipments. So, yeah, pain in the butt. Now it's actually good.
Fix 3 issues with the Habsburg dismounted infantry costing no population slot. Oh, that's kind of funny. The World Huntsman costing 2 population instead of 1. And the Whittlebash Chevalier costing only one population slot instead of two. Lots of population issues with that. Witch Hammer now reduces the population cost of outlaw type units. Oh, this is the one I believe that sends an outpost and
Yep, and allows you to make Inquisitors.
and allows you to make Inquisitors. So that's kind of cool.
Yep. Yeah,
Circle Army. Increase the unit counts to deliver 13 Brunswickers, 8 mounted infantry, and 5 Saxon Cuirassiers, up from 5, 4, and 2. Thank God, because Circle Army was so bad.
Yeah. Cost additive 250 food and 250 wood, but now this is one that you could actually consider having in your deck, where it's like you're going to get punch from it.
Yeah, especially 5 Saxon Cuirassiers. That's a good shipment.
Yeah.
Is now properly classified as a mercenary shipment and affected by mercenary loyalty. Ooh, okay.
That's nice.
That's pretty cool. Scharnhorst Reform H3 now enables veteran landwares. Cool. Wait, okay, so this card right here, I see what they're saying now. You get the veterancy tech for free with this. You don't have to research it yourself.
Yep.
That's a huge boost.
It really increases the value of going for Expo in Age 2 now. And the thing is, what I'm seeing all here is this is really reinforcing Age 2 play for Germany.
Well, it also increases how fast you can push with landwares once you reach Age 3.
Yeah.
Because you can focus purely on making more of them rather than having to mine 200 coin and 200 extra wood.
Yeah.
Princely Baravian Chevaliers. This is the one that replaces war wagons with Chevaliers.
Yeah. Let's see. This is now with the 500 food cost, yeah, but it delivers 8, so it's more.
Cool. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
For Prince Chevaliers, this converted war wagon card now ships 5 after sending the 6. This converted war wagon card now ships 8. Cool. Makes sense.
Yeah.
March Revolution, Age 4. Reduced cost to 1,000 wood, food, and coin, down from 1,200 of each. And now also converts pikemen into revolutionaries. Okay, so it's the same thing, basically.
Yeah, it's the same thing, except this one I don't think you'd ever use as Germany, as the reality is, why do you want it? Yeah. Yeah. I guess it gives you the giant, bunch of, the revolutionaries, but at the same time, for that cost, you just go for a revolution and don't waste it.
Yeah, exactly. Wallenstein's Contracts, Age 3, Temple of Westphalia. Tooltip specified to clarify that only coin costs are removed from mercenary shipments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're saying that Wallenstein's Contracts won't affect the Circle Army card.
Yeah, because that's the only mercenary shipment I have that doesn't cost only coin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Haudenosaunee. Recruit Buccaneer Fleet. This card is now available in the Fortress Age and costs 800 coin, up from 500 to send. Recruit Buccaneer Fleet. I don't remember what this card did. I know it's obviously probably a water-based shipment, but... So it's more expensive, but...
It sends 2 privateers, if I recall.
That's pretty bad for Age 4 and 500 coin. It's got to be more than that. Oh, well.
Yeah, I have to look it up.
House Up. Cards. Yeah. Loyal Warriors. Now reduces the cost of Akon Aknobas at the war camp generated... Oh my god. Fucking McLeese is going to lose his mind.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Akon now.
It was already like the best house of strat.
Yeah, because those units are good. So,
dude, yeah. McLeese is gonna lose his mind. There's like McLeese's favorite house of strat. Setsi Sabotage H2. The gained ability now shares a cooldown across all emirs. I don't remember what this ability does.
That causes it prevents, either slows down or prevents your buildings from producing units. So it's like their chaos ability for Ethiopia, except you cast it on your enemy's buildings, and it either, I can't remember if it's a percentage reduction on production rate or if it's a pause, but it makes it so they can't make units. So it means that you can't send, because as Hausa, you can make 3 of these guys if you send the right cards. And that way you could disable it in 3 different areas. This makes it so it's like every other one of these area explorer abilities where you can use it once at a time.
And then one of their technologies that costs 800 influence is reduced to 500. I don't know what this one does off the top of my head.
They couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Inca, here we go. Units and buildings. Villager build limit reduced to 90. Okay.
This is good because they've got all the factory houses that they can get up in age 2.
Yeah.
I'm, I'm
Change raft. Range reduced to 20 from 22. And inflicts a 0.25 damage bonus against villagers. Okay, cool.
so with this one because the Ginger Raft are annoying.
Yeah, they have the Change raft for OP. Jungle Bowman, line of sight increased to 20 from 18. That's big.
That is big.
Maceman, population cost reduced to 2, down from 3.
I don't know if anyone's going to make them still, but that's sizable because, I mean, these are like, they are bigger than DOPS if you can get them in contact. But
the problem is they're really expensive for Inca's kind of struggling economy, and they move so slow. These guys, I think, have 4 movement speed as opposed to the 4.5 of all the other units that are similar to them.
Yeah. So we'll see if anyone makes them still, but there is something you could potentially do with that because now we're talking about them much like you can actually field these guys.
Yeah. Plume Spearman is now correctly classified as a pikeman unit and archaic infantry. So
Nice.
it has more text that can potentially get buffs from. Plume Spearmen were already like one of the best pikemen in the game. Now they're even better. The Plume Spearman and Puma Spearman are the 2 best pikes in the game, hands down, without a doubt. And now they're even better. Okay. Cards, 5 Macemen. Food cost removed. Thank God. That needed to happen.
Yeah.
Monumental Architecture now improves building hit points by 30%, down from 45. That's fair. That's an H2 card. That's an H2 card.
Yeah.
Well, money costs reduced to 250 wood from 500 wood. Is this the one that sends you a town center and a war hut? What?
No idea.
No, the town center and the war hut one cost I think 350 coins. That can't be it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one this is then. Tupac Rebellion cost reduced to 1,500 of each resource, down from 2,000. Shivan runners now convert into guard hussars instead of veteran. Oh my god, Tupac Rebellion is in.
Yeah. Okay, and add on top of that with the Maceman, with the 2-pop, remember what Maceman converts to.
Yeah, they turn into light cannons.
I
was already thinking of that when I saw this food cost removed. I'm like, oh, Tupac's Rebellion is a little bit better than now it's okay. Tupac's Rebellion is in. That's going to be like the thing for late game Inca now.
Yeah,
is to mass as many Chibu runners and Macemen as possible, and then turn them all into hussars and cannons.
Yeah, so that is something that we're all going to have to watch out for now with Inca is if they go with Tupac.
I actually had a strategy for Inca built a long time ago called Fast Tupac, and now it's going to be even better.
Yeah.
Technologies, Totoro Reeds, Dock Big Button in Age 1. Cost decreased to 500 wood, food, and gold, down from 600. Now increases the Shinsha Raft bill limit by 4, down from 8, and adds 4 line of sight, down from 6. Okay. Indians.
Seems pretty expensive for that now, but yeah.
Please give them a unit that has a multiplier against mercenaries. I'm begging you. Carne Amada. Aura effects reduced to 10%. Gather rate boost from... Oh, they reverted it! Man.
It's a little too strong, man.
Carne Amada was so good!
That's probably why they changed it.
Repujits are cheaper by 10 food. That's good, except nobody's still going to use them.
Building damage increased. Oh, a lot more siege. And ROF improved.
Okay, I can kind of see... I can kind of see people using them now.
Yeah, that's actually a lot of siege.
35 siege is quite a bit, but they're still hella expensive for 30 wood and 35 food compared to the 40-40 of a pikeman.
Yeah. Okay, for the Rajput Mend Basar, okay, it's exactly the same changes except it's more expensive because the unit's expensive.
Sepoy plus Sepoy Mansabdar. Melee damage increased to 18 from 15. Anti-cavalry multiplier reduced to 1.75 from 3. Whoa.
So now they're worse against cav.
That was the thing that was always scary about Sepoy is they were like the best musketeer against cavalry. in melee.
Not so
Because they
much
did
now.
45 damage at base. That's more than pikemen.
Yeah, not so much now.
Anti-shock infantry multiplier reduced to 1.2 from
So
2.25.
and less siege. Okay, sepoy are a lot less scary now.
Yeah. They're better against everything other than Hussar, against everything other than Cav and melee, but other than that, they've been heavily nerfed in this one.
Yeah.
They're still going to be one of the best musketeers, though, just because their range
Yes,
attack in
yes, they
HP.
are. But it means that, you see those out now. It's like, and you're a lot less worried about your cav being caught by them.
Yeah, that's very true. Like the
I
Sepoy
mean,
just shredded cavalry.
yeah, and that's building damage that's more than a 10% nerf and siege damage. So you're less worried about, you're going to have a lot more time to fight them, basically.
Yes. Okay, cards. Foreign trading companies, H4. Oh, this is the export trickle card.
Yeah.
It slightly increases but the cost of all India units by a like unnoticeable margin, and then gave you a unnoticeably small amount of export trickle.
So it
Uh,
sounds like roughly the same effect.
and it's been moved to the H3, which is a much bigger deal actually, because it also reduces the cost of export armies.
Okay.
So the fact that you're getting this in H3 and it's a much stronger trickle, like they upgraded the trickle by 25%. For reference, T export I think gives 0.25%, 0.25 per second now.
Okay.
So this is like 3 times as powerful as China's T export card, but it also reduces the export cost of armies. This is a good card now.
Yeah.
Indian gunpowder now also improves Sepoy hit points and damage by 10%. Cool.
Okay. Which is offset by exalted sepoys and H5 hit point and damage now get increased by 50% down from 60. So that means if you want the full
Yeah,
punch of sepoys, you have to send that shipment.
seems fair to
I'm good
me.
with that.
Yeah, seems fair to me. That's that right there. Levy, Ottoman consulate. This consulate shipment, previously available to the Indians, has been replaced with 6 zaps. Oh, that's so much better. Holy shit.
That's much better.
Because they
That's way
don't
better.
reduce anymore.
You don't get Minutemen. That's way better.
Yeah. So this is a big deal for me in particular because I actually do send this tech. Specifically with my India Fast Industrial. Is I make 7 Sepoy and I call that a day for age 2, because if I push, what I do is I wait for them to get close in on the town center, and then I get sentries, irregulars, and Minutemen all at once. Well, now I'm gonna get AZAPs, and that means that that's just gonna add to my army pool, and they're not going to lose their HP, and they'll probably shadow tech when I age up too.
Yeah.
So this is a really big deal for my defensive India play.
Nice.
Units and buildings
For Italians.
for Italians, yes. Beseglery range resistance increased to 25% from 20. That's fair. Honestly, I think the Beseglery should be way better than it is considering it's H4 locked.
Yeah, I still think with the 5 movement speed, they're strong enough.
Cards, though they have some new cards. Siamese Financiers. Deposits 1,000 food into your Lombards, which will grant you wood and coin over time in H2. Oh, wow, this is really good. Holy fuck, that's a good card.
Yeah.
This is an insane... Oh my god!
So Spades is already cooking up something for his Italy strat with
Yeah.
this, and we also have the second new card, which is Lucan Financiers, where it deposits 1,500 wood into your Lombards, which grants coin and food. So Spades is already cooking something for his Lombard build that he's been trying to get to work, and thanks with these 2 cards added, that it might actually work.
Well, he recently came up with a start that gives you 19 villagers, an architect, and a Lombard at 4 minutes and 30 seconds as you hit age 2.
Yep.
And so, like, you can, if you go into age 2 and then immediately send the 700 coin and Lombard shipment,
Yep.
and then follow it with the 1,000 food into your Lombards, like, you can have resources rolling in.
Yeah.
in Age 2. Holy, this is so good. I cannot get over this.
Yeah.
Especially added 2 Lombards, too, because you'll have that coming in like twice as fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Albanian Company. Like, I cannot get... These are insanely good cards.
You have
Albanian
to cook
Company.
on it now that you're starting to experiment with Italy.
One more time?
You'll have to start cooking on this now that you're experimenting with Italy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I plan to. Now sends 4 Stratiots and 4 Bosniaks, up from 4 Stratiots and 3 Bosniaks. Oh, hell yeah, dude. That was already one of my favorite shipments.
Particularly since that's one extra Bosniak, and Bosniaks are getting their promotions back.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It was already one of my favorite shipments for Italy. Steel bolts, siege damage reduced to 10, down from 16. Oof.
I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure this is fair, given if anyone's watched the most recent Age of Bison one, where they saw those those
I,
Arbalest
the
or
siege
not.
damage was the main reason you sent steel bolt.
It's still decent siege damage, but if anyone's seen the most recent Age of Bison, where the crossbows or whatever they're called, or take down a fort, I
Yeah,
mean,
I've done that
yeah,
before. It's so funny. I'm willing to bet this change will also appear in the Malta section.
it's the same. It's the same card, so it has to.
Yeah. Well, you never know because China and India both have access to the French technologies. Both have access to the French consulate texts. But the French consulate texts are different for China than they are for India.
I'm reading ahead just real fast. Yeah, Malta, the change is the same.
Okay, so yeah, that's on one hand I'm sad as a multiplayer. On the other hand, yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. And also, in terms of I'm saddened, but it's fair, Team Marco Polo now delivers 25% more resources from treasure rewards to the entire team, down from 100.
Oh, okay. I'm never sending that card again.
I mean, you
Fine.
still get the map packs, you still get the resources back, but it's now not. It doesn't feel so much as cheating as. I mean, the thing is, it's never been a great card in Age 1 since
I'm
it's just benefiting you. But when it benefits the whole time team, even with 25% in the map packs, it's worth it. But it's now not cheating where you could get, you could get hundreds of extra res pouring in.
yeah, I'm not sending that card anymore because I love to see Marco Polo and yeah, it's not gonna work anymore.
Well, they might buff it a little bit. They're still looking at the PUP, but I'm personally on the board of I'm saddened by it, but at the same time, it's like that card is busted.
Okay, so Imperial Basiglary remove the 5% range resistance improvement. Oh, okay, so they just moved it from the Imperial upgrade to right when you get them.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Japan cards, 4 Shrine Wagons. Shrine count increased to 5. Oh, Japan players.
But
Japan players are gonna be sitting happy.
yeah.
Zekura no longer improves shrine hit points, but now ships 4 Shrine Wagons, improves their gather rates by 5%, and enables shrines to slowly repair themselves. This card can now be sent twice. Oh,
So you're talking, you can ship 5, 5, 4, 4 with a 10% total increase. So
that's pretty insane, honestly.
you could theoretically build all your shrines without using your Iki.
Honestly, people are probably just going to do the 4-4 for the 10% gather rate boost and call it a day.
The 4 Shrine Wagons is probably going to not be sent anymore.
Close Combat, Age 3. Reduces hit points improvement to 10%, down from 15. And melee multiplier damage increase against shock infantry reduced to 0.75 from 0.1. Okay. That one was a buff to Musketeers, correct?
Yes, that buffed Ashigaru.
Naginata Rider hit points. Reduced hit points improvement down to 20% from 25. Damn! 25% hit points? Jesus. Alright. Non-blunt trade, Age 3. Cost reduced to 300 wood, and card renamed to Como trade. Okay, cool, sure.
Okay.
Do you remember what this card sent?
Nope.
Okay. Oh! This was the funniest. Okay, 7 Samurai. Unit count increased to 8, but no longer improves Samurai hit points and damage by 5% twice. This was the funniest fucking shit. This is because I knew something about Japan. I loved knowing this because I knew something about Japan that even like the most experienced Japan players don't know. And that's that the random Seven Samurai card in Age 4 that has no other indication in its name or picture that it does anything extra improves the samurai hit points and attack by 5%, and you can send it twice. And they've removed that and just buffed the card now. And I find that so funny.
All right, next one.
7 Lucky Gods moved to Age 1. Oh, Chase is going to be happy about that. I think
Yeah.
back when he played Japan, he made a 7 Lucky Gods build, and we can do that a little bit earlier potentially now.
Yeah.
Sword Saint in Age 3 now improves samurai hit points and damage by 10%. Okay, so they moved it from the Age 4 card to Sword Saint in Age 3.
There you go.
That is so funny to me. Kamidana, Age 4. Now reduces spawn time of dojos by 20%, down from 25%. Okay, so dojos are worse.
Can we pause for a second?
Alright, unfortunately, Steven's wife got angry at him for spending too much time on the computer, so now it is just me, right as we get to the Maltese. Shipments added a 2% penalty to their shipment curve to balance for their hit points per card bonus. Oh, that's lame. I feel like Maltese don't really need nerfs right now. New 5 Sentinel in Age 2 added to Home City. That's actually very nice, though. I'm happy to see that. Wigna Court Constructions. The additional gather rate bonus around Town Center's outpost commanderies is now reduced to an additional 15%, down from 20. The total effect of gathering natural resources near one of these buildings is now 25%, down from 30. Okay, so got it. So Wigna Court got a 5% nerf. Steel Bolts. Damage reduced to 10 from 16. Units and buildings. Fixed Gun now correctly displays the damage multiplier of 0.1 times against siege troopers such as Aerodites and Harakas. Order Longbowmen corrected range damage to 16 from 17 to align the unit with a previous Longbowman adjustment. So nothing but Maltese nerfs here, which is kind of sad because I felt like Maltese maybe needed a tiny bit of a buff. They were annoying as a civilization to fight against, but they were also not one of the greatest win rate civs in the world, and they also didn't have the greatest matchups in the world, according to the civilization grid. At least that's how I felt playing Malta. Mexicans, units and buildings. Kuzov Infantry, the Maya Revolution. Ranged damage multiplier for all shock infantry changed to hand shock infantry. Okay. Cards Coach Guns, Age 2, Baja, California, now also ships 3 Comancheros and 3 Renegados. We'll send United States Outlaws instead after the Bad Boys card has been researched. Bad Boys, it's funny. Okay, got it. I believe the Comancheros and Renegados card attached to Baja is referring... I don't remember exactly what it did before. Yeah, I'm afraid I don't remember what it does. So a lot of their I'm not gonna know what a lot of these cards do because most of the cards that they're changing are attached to revolts. It looks like now sends 1 dock wagon instead of 2 for the the Mycoic Con and Age ship. Not really sure what that means. St. Louis Patriots. Is now oh wait, no, it's because all of the cards are in Spanish. That's why. It is now capped at 8 Chinacos. Sure, I don't remember exactly what that did, but okay. 7 Laws moved to Age 1. That seems fair. So 7 Laws is a card that gives you I think it gives you a huge XP boost while you have a huge XP boost while you have one of every unique Mexico building. It was sent in Age 2, which, I mean, now you can send in Age 1, so you can spare yourself another Age 2 card if you want to have this in your deck. You're probably still not going to send it in Age 1 because it requires a lot of investment, and I don't even think all of the unique Mexico buildings are available in Age 1. But now it's here, so there you go. Zekitas Silver now only delivers 1 Prospector Wagon each time it is shipped after the first ship. Okay, so this was a infinite send multiple Prospector Wagons. Now it only sends 2 the first time and it's 1 after every other time. That seems fair. Ottomans. Range resistance decreased to 20% from 25. Hey, any nerf to Obelisk Gunners, I am all for. Zaps cost increased by 10 food. And okay, oh, okay, so cost is the same, but it's more food weighted than wood. Fixed a visual bug where a zap shield not upgrading. Okay. Humberasi, these are the new grenadiers that were really, really good for Ottomans. Siege damage increased to 50 from 48, and melee damage increased to 28 from 20. Okay, so they just buffed the fucking grenadier unit. That's already super good. Imam, this is the settler, I believe. Resource cost changed from 100 coin to 115 food to give it a unique trait differing from priests. Oh, okay, so it's not the settlers, it's the priest. Okay, cool. Cards. They have a new 7 as Zaps card in Age 2, 11 in Age 3, and 22 in Age 4. They have the Matrikiti School. Not sure I pronounced that. Reduces the train time of all infantry by 30%, and Ottoman infantry by an additional 10%. Okay, so they got a 40% infantry combat train now. Sabesi, Age 2, removes the hit point improvement for Obelisk Gunners and Humberasi to 20% from 25. Okay, so Obelisk Gunners and Humberasi slightly nerfed. 6 Nizam Fusiliers, now properly respects population costs and build limit. Fantastic. Akinses now also improves cavalry archer train time by minus 15%. A semi-Oglan school no longer reduces the train time of Janissaries and Nizam Fusiliers, but now reduces the cost of all Ottoman infantry instead. Okay, so in exchange for having the infantry train card in Age 2, the card in Age 4 that did it reduces the cost instead of train time. Got it. 20% for Janissaries, Humberasis, and Zaps. 10% for Fusiliers and Obelisk Gunners. Flight Archery, Age 4. No longer improves train time for Zaps and Cavalry archers, but instead increases their damage by plus 15%. Okay. And then we have Team Kapikulu. Cost reverted to 1,200 food from 1,500. No longer improves heavy cavalry melee armor by 10%. Moved to new mosque tech. Card renames to Team Timiriots. Technologies. New Kapikulu Corpse. So this is the Palace Intrigue Age 4 tech. Adds a third unique Moss tech for parity with other civilizations. Sends 4 Spahis and improves the heavy cavalry heavy cavalry armor by 10%. Upgrading Spahis into Kapikulu Spahis costs 1,400 food. Alright, so this is going to add a little bit more... usability to Ottoman fast industrials, because now they'll have a nice, after they're done sending their Great Bombard tech and their Janissary tech, they're going to have a really, really nice big Spahi tech as well. New Order Infantry, also Palace Intrigue, now also sends 20 Nizam Fusiliers up from 15. Topku Corps in the core edition, also Palace Intrigue. So they're just really changing they're really buffing the Palace Intrigue set. In addition to shipping 3 Great Bombards, their population cost also gets decreased to 6 from 7. Wow! Okay, Ottoman Fast Industrial is going to be a thing now. It just is. People are just going to have to expect Ottomans to do more Fast Industrials than Palace Intrigue, and the people who do send Palace Intrigue are going to be sending all 3 techs, one after the other, 100%. Veteran Zaps and Guard Zaps now increase the range attack range by 1. Oh, cool. This should affect the Zap tech that India gets as well, then. And Imperial Zaps get an extra range by 2. Portuguese. Fatorius no longer adds XP generation to town centers, but rates for food increase to 4.5 food per second, up from 0.3, and wood and coin both increased to 0.23 wood per second, up from 0.5. So compared to original, it's 75% resource generation, and the resource generation that it had, and remove the XP. So this should actually make Fatorius a usable card again. And then Banderantes. I mean, these are so hard to pronounce. Now also removes the ransom cooldown for explorers. Cool. Units. Castador. Fix an issue that would grant Castador veteran combat strength when made available in the Commerce Age. Okay. Technologies. The Logistician now increased the range of pikemen by 0.5, down from 1. Musketeer and crossbowman improvements remain unchanged. The description has been updated accordingly. Cool. So, Logistician upgrades slightly nerfed. Russians. New civilization bonus. Ooh. Can now reach 210 population space to offset the individual weakness of Russian units in the late game. Russian players rejoice. You are now China. Thank God. Cards. 12 Oldenburg allies. Fixed a bug that resulted in royal hunters consuming 1 population spot. Okay, interesting. Spanish. Here we go. Units. Missionary. Classified as cavalry units. Nice. That means they'll finally get multiplied against goons and stuff. You can chase missionaries with goons. Soldados is no longer affected twice by the British Home City card. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, so yeah, I think British has a Team Musketeer card that affects Musketeers and heavy infantry, and for some reason it affects the Soldado twice, so that's no longer the case. But this missionary nerf in particular is going to be great, as it's going to make Unction a little bit easier to handle. If your enemy makes Unction, you just need to know that you always need a couple goons running around the fields looking for the missionaries in the back line. Cards. Spanish Square, age 4, now delivers 20 pikemen instead of 8 pikemen. It's 10 pikemen and 8 arrows, and grants pikemen an additional 10% ranged and melee resistance. It's an age 4 card. Okay, got it. 20 pikemen in age 4 removed from Home City. Okay, so they just removed the 20 pikemen with Spanish Square then. And made it so, yeah, okay, got it. House of Trastamara now reduces the next age up by 80 resources, down from 100 resources per shipment in the current age. So House of Trastamara nerf. House of Trastamara was a insanely good card. And as sad as I am to see it nerf because I did like using it, it seems fair to me. Spanish gold coin crates are now also delivered for the recently added mercenary shipments. Oh, they weren't? Well, before? Well, I guess that issue's fixed. Swedes. Ranged cavalry combat in age 3. Fixed an issue that made this card affect the entire team. That's kind of funny. Cards. Torp. Cost. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say buildings. Units and buildings. Torp cost increased to 140 wood from 135. So this is to keep it in line with the British Manor House. And build time to 16 seconds from 12.5. XP values updated accordingly. Leather cannons, negative damage multiplier of 0.5 times added against heavy infantry and hand shock infantry. So leather cannons slightly worse again, quite a bit worse against cavalry than they were before. Hackapellet fixed the outdated unit tooltip that described them as heavy hand cavalry instead of light range cavalry. Now inflicts range damage bonus against hand shock infantry instead of all shock infantry. Okay, so this means that Hackapellets no longer counter Eagle Runner Knights specifically is the only thing that's changed here. Negative damage multipliers of 0.7 against infantry and villagers are now used in all melee and range attacks, as opposed. So they've made them do less damage against sellers, and they've made it so that it affects all damage instead of just the range. Siege damage reduced to 14 from 20. Yeah, Hackapellets had quite a bit of siege, quite a bit of siege for a dragoon. So that's good to see that nerf. United States. Scottish immigrants moved back to age 2, thank God, but now costs 400 coin and no longer ships a Highlander by default. Okay, so the Highlander rush is back for USA, but it's going to be 1 Highlander shorter than before, basically. That seems fair. Scottish immigrants went from insanely good to basically useless, and now it's probably going to be pretty damn good again, but it's not going to be quite as powerful as it was before. United States Marines, age 3. Now also allows Marines to be healed. Oh my god, I have been complaining about this for like 2 years. It's 2 years of me complaining about this, so I'm so happy to finally finally see this change. I put in like 2 or 3 bug reports for it. Siege damage improvement from Minutemen has been. Oh! 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 Oh my god. Oh, that's painful. Oh. So that means my Marines are gonna have 30 siege instead of 55. How could you do this to me? No! That was like the biggest thing. That was like the biggest advantage of Marines is that they had 55 siege. Ugh. Man, I'm gonna need a moment here. Okay, moments passed. Buffalo Soldiers, age 4, moved to age 3. Cool. Coffee Mill Guns, moved to age 3, moved to age 4. Yeah, that's fair. Buffalo Soldiers, this is the combat card for Carbine Cavalry that gives them extra damage and range resistance. I'm pretty sure they're still going to be pretty trash, but I mean, hey, maybe they're going to be a little bit more usable now. They've received nothing but buffs since the game's come out, and they're still kind of meh. Units and buildings. Gatling gun. Damage multiplier against cavalry has changed to 0.25, down from 0.5, and against shock infantry to 0.15, down from 0.5. Okay, so this makes sense. So Gatling guns previously, after they received the Coffee Mill Guns upgrade, did so much damage that their negative multiplier against cavalry didn't really matter. And you could kind of gun down cavalry and trade pretty effectively with big cavalry masses. And even when the enemy would mass dragoons, you could just take dragoons down like it was no issue. This was especially true. This is especially shown off pretty well in one of my tournament matches in the previous 2v2 tournament against McCleaves, where he was playing Hausa, and he made an army of like 75 javelin riders, and they all got guns down in an instant from like 15 Gatling guns. Settler build limit increased to 90 from 85. Cool. Okay, so I'm all for these changes. Revolutions. Okay, so these are revolution changes. Argentina, hand cavalry is cheaper. Stockyard. Okay, so most of these are not going to be very consequential. I wanted to see if Brazil was affected here, but it's not. Indonesia is one of particular noteworthiness to me because I think it's cool, even if I don't think it's particularly useful. Improves revolutionaries and new Kratten guards. Improves revolutionaries and pikemen units in combat by 15% and 25%. Cool. Their revolutionary unit is a pikeman, so I wonder if that double affects them. I'm not sure. Lantakas improves light cannon, improves cannon attack of ships, buildings, and artillery by 15%. This is pretty neat because the Indonesia gives you access to a leather cannon type unit that you can train for pretty damn cheap. Improve warships, advanced stock, native warriors, fencing school added to home city. Cool. Mexico now has access to Mexican outlaws and saloons by default. That makes sense. Banditos replaced with outlaw combat. So they got infinite 4 Gatling gun cards. They got a whole bunch of just better cards, basically. Okay, that seems to be about it. This was a really, really long update. Expect another video when this update goes live where we will see and make sure that this is all the same, and we'll go over any changes that happen between the PUP and the thing. Now, overall, I think these are mostly good changes. The Ottomans are going to fast industrial a lot more now. And I'm the only thing I'm particularly sad at is to see the Aztec and Malta nerfs. The Malta nerfs could be seen as fair because the crossbowmen were so like oppressive, and of all of the changes that were made to these two civilizations, I think that one was the most valid, that they reduced the siege damage from steel bolts. Aztecs, however, I'm fine with the High Priest of Exultant because it's still less of a nerf than the Medicine Wheel got. However, pretty much, this card is still useless, but the infinite 1300 coin being slowed down in Age 4 and Eagle Runner Knights being weakened really hurts Aztec's late game by quite a bit. A lot more, I think, than people realize. And Aztec was already pretty weak in Age 4, and this has only incentivized them to further do only rushes when you play Aztecs, which I think is a bit of an issue. And I think that's been an issue for a while. Other than that, these were mostly good changes all across the board. I would have liked to have seen an India unit get multipliers against mercenaries, but I guess we'll say that for another day. They did get access to an infinite force spy tech, however, so there is something to be said for that. It just costs lots of export to fight mercenaries. It's better than nothing. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this update. There were a lot of things I liked, some things I didn't like. Thank you guys for watching this video. Have a great day. We will see you in the next one, and goodbye.